Right. No. Oh, right. Day one we had discussed about introduction to MVC. There we understood what is MVC. And day two we discussed about introduction to ASP.NET MVC. And today we're going to discuss more clear about day third session. We're going to discuss about uh, advantages of ASP.NET MVC, or you can call it as features of ASP.NET MVC, or you can say why ASP.NET MVC rather than ASP.NET. So already we have ASP.NET, why we are going for ASP.NET MVC. So these are all the points we are going to discuss. So as part of this, already we have discussed in last class about this. Have you received materials, guys? Hello. Yeah, once you get a material, my advice to all the people is make it as a spiral, better. So always soft copies is no use. You'll keep somewhere and you will forget. Better you make it as a hard copy. And yeah, Sai will tell you the front page and back page images also. Sai, have you shared this one front page image also? And you forward our back page image also. So keep the cover pages and keep that book with you. So then what will happen? The book will remind you. Physical book always it will remind you to prepare. So that I will check within 2 to 3 days of your spirals by on my video. Okay, else you can send me the WhatsApp photos also. Right now. Yeah, today we are going to discuss ASP.NET features, MVC features. Already we discussed yesterday about this as 10 points. So anybody remember that advantages of ASP.NET MVC or features of MVC of the 10 points? We had just understood the titles yesterday. Today we are going to discuss one by one point clearly. Anybody can recall the 10 points? Right. Yeah, number one, right. Anyone can explain the 10 points. Yeah, Venkat. Right. Or Satya, Kranti, Annapurna. Annapurna, come on, repeat.
Separation of code, sir.
First one, separation of code. Second one,
loosely coupled.
Loosely coupled. Third one,
parallel development.
Parallel development. Fourth one,
easy to perform unit testing.
Easy to perform unit testing. Okay.
TDD support.
TDD support. Next.
Clear URL.
Clear URL.
Improved performance.
Improved performance.
More controlling on HTML.
More controlling on HTML.
Added new concepts.
Added new concepts.
Easy to learn and easy to implement.
Easy to learn and easy to implement. Very good. Now we are going to discuss one by one point very clearly as a separate questions again. Have you received two books or you received yesterday only one book? No. Have you received only step-by-step book and you have received interview question bank also?
Only step-by-step book, sir.
Yes, I shared that interview question bank also because interviews preparation is better to start from now onwards. Interview, because in MVC only starting we will have theoretical part, later complete coding part. So that starting first 10 days only you will have all the interview questions. After 10-15 days classes are completed, You can start attending. You can add in your resume. I know MVC. My first 7 to 8 classes will cover maximum of MVC theoretical part. You can add in your resume. You can attend. 90% questions will come from that question bank. So I will share you. Okay, right. Now the first one is first feature again we are making as a question, because at the time of preparing first time only we should prepare on behalf of interview questions, right? What is separation of code in ASP.NET MVC? We discussed that ASP.NET MVC main feature is separation of code. So what do you mean by separation of code? We are going to discuss here. MVC based applications are separated the model from view. Model means it will contain which logic? Data access logic. Model will contain data access logic. Okay, it will be separating from the view. View will contain the presentation logic. Due to this separation of code, application can develop easily, because okay, a team can work on model, another team can work on view, and single application development we can split into 3 parts. This is called separation of code. Finally, we can say in MVC, separation of code means application development will be divided into how many parts, guys? 3 parts. Let me show you. Already you know about this 3 parts. Let me show you with small diagrammatical representation about this. Observe the project. Observe the screen, all of you. See, here you have a database. Here you have database. Let us assume this is our database, DB. So who are going to develop by the DB? Database is going to develop by the SQL developer. Okay. Here you will have end user. End user will give the request. Request to whom? End user will give the request to whom? Come on. End user will give the request to browser to controller. Based on the request, controller will communicate either view or
Model.
either view or what is this? Or model. Model will communicate the database. So and base response controller may get from either view. Controller may get response from the model. Whatever response is received from the model will give to the view. View will prepare the output, and output again will give to the controller. Controller will give to the end user with the help of browser. This is happening in MVC. In MVC, total application part will be divided into 3 parts. Now here you will have which logic. Model will contain which logic? Data access logic. Okay. Now view will contain which logic? UI logic. And controller will contain which logic? Come on. Controller will contain execution logic. Okay. So like that, what is happening in MVC? Application development will be splitting into 3 parts. So this is called separation of code. Data access logic is not depending on UI logic. UI logic is not depending on data access logic. One team will work on view. One team will work on model. Are you clear? So this is called, and one team will work on controller. 3 teams are working together. This is called separation of code in ASP.NET MVC. I hope you are clear about this. Understood, all of you? Yeah. Now, next, second point is, what is the second advantage? Loosely coupled. So again, I am preparing loosely coupled, unloosely coupled. We are preparing one more question. We are preparing one more question. That question is, what is loosely coupled or less dependency in ASP.NET MVC? Okay, so what do you mean by loosely coupled? You are telling that ASP.NET MVC is having a feature called loosely coupled. In MVC based application, views are less dependent on model. There is no dependency between the view and model, because view and model is controlling by a mediator called, who is that mediator? Controller. So these two modules are organized by, come on, these two modules are organized by, it is going to organized, okay, organized or controlled by controller, because there is no direct communication between view and model. Due to this feature, we can easily update the module. Required module. Required module means either view or model without affecting other module. Again, I am telling you here, view and model as are less dependent together. There is no direct communication between these two. These two are controlling by the, are organizing by the controller. Due to the feature, we can easily update the required module. Required module means if you want to update view, it doesn't have any like impact on model. If you will update in model, it doesn't impact on view. So due to this feature, we can easily update the required module without affecting other module. So that's why we can say that in ASP.NET MVC, it is called loosely coupled. There is no dependency between one module to another module. That is called ASP.NET MVC loosely coupled. Right. Next, come back to our discussion. What is parallel development in ASP.NET MVC? Right. Somewhere we are getting noise. So whenever from your end noise is getting, our team will mute you. Whenever our team will mute you, don't you try to unmute. They are muting you means some noise is coming. Without any background noise, any environment noise also, sometimes network noise will come. That noise can understand only other side person. You don't know that. So whenever our team Sai or Srinivas will mute you, you just follow it. Don't you try again unmute. Next, come back to our discussion. Third question is, what is parallel development in ASP.NET MVC? What is parallel development in ASP.NET MVC? What is parallel development in ASP.NET MVC? In ASP.NET MVC, a team can be work on model. What is parallel development? It is simultaneously development. Easily you can explain. See, you can observe all the points are towards, which are running towards only the three parts. In ASP.NET MVC, a team can be work on model and another team can work on views. With this, parallel application development process will continue. Okay. Due to this feature, development process will be faster and easy. Now, next, third question. How ASP.NET MVC easy to perform unit testing? Easy to perform unit testing. How ASP.NET MVC easy to perform unit testing? Right. Here in ASP.NET MVC, application development will be divided into three parts. Okay, here we are trying to understand a feature called MVC. In ASP.NET MVC, unit testing performing is very easy. Why? Reason, ASP.NET MVC application development will be divided into three parts. One is model, another one is view, another one is controller. Because of this, we can easily perform the unit testing on particular module. When you are performing unit testing on model, it will not reflect on view. So separately you can perform, 3 teams can perform on 3 modules. And what is test TDD support in ASP.NET? What is TDD support in ASP.NET MVC? Okay, so this point cannot understand now. It will, you can understand only in later classes. Just I'll tell you the what is what. Don't expect the clarity in this point. TDD support. TDD stands for test driven development. TDD stands for test driven development. It is a it is a development technique, and so TDD test will provide new feature options for development continuously. MVC applications are more comfortable to modify any point of the time without affecting the entire project. So test driven TDD support feature we cannot understand right now, but only one important point remember here. While in MVC application development, if you are very much comfortable to modify any point of the time without affecting entire project, when you want to modify in a model, it will not reflect on view. You can perform easy modifications. Next, coming to, because fifth point we can't give the clarity present, that you can understand only at the time of development. And coming to that is coming to sixth point, MVC will support clear URLs. Clear all clean URLs. MVC applications are, what do you mean by clear and clean URLs? Very important point it is. Everybody are clear with, I'm sorry, everybody are clear with ASP.NET URL. How the URL will come in ASP.NET? Do you have any idea? Anytime you observe URL of the ASP.NET? Yeah,
Okay.
let me explain. Observe. Compare with ASP.NET. ASP.NET MVC URLs are clear and clean. What is that? I'll show you practically also. MVC applications are using URLs according to the controller. According to the controller. All MVC are controlled based on file based. In ASP.NET MVC are not file based. All MVC URLs are controller based, not file based. But ASP.NET URLs are file based. What do you mean by controller based? What do you mean by file based? Now I am going to explain. So have you observed ASP.NET URL? You have a ASP.NET web application. That web application contains one web page. The web page name is webform1.aspx. So what will happen in webform1.aspx? Come on. When you run the application in the browser, what you will get? Hello?
In the ASP.NET you are asking, or like MVC?
No, I am asking about ASP.NET. You
Yeah,
have, because, no,
you will get
you, 1 minute, you didn't do that.
file name.
Yeah,
Wherever
in it. File name.
ASP.NET, like ASPX, like the whatever the file page it is located. For example, if it is UI is located in that page, whatever the, like, it will give the extension of that file name with the ASPX or like that.
All MVC URLs are control based, not file based. But ASP.NET URLs are which based? File based. First, we'll try to understand what do you mean by file based, what do you mean by controller based. That we can explain only with the help of development environment. Let me open two applications. Now I'm going to show you two applications. Now let's open Visual Studio.NET. First, I'm going to create ASP.NET web application. New project, ASP.NET web application. Click here. I'm selecting C# web, ASP.NET web forms application. I hope everybody are clear about this, how to create ASP.NET web application. Click OK button. Now it is going to create ASP.NET Web Forms application. Okay. Now for this application, I am going to add a new web page. That web page name is, let us assume, web form 1. That web page name is, let us assume, web form 1. And after I will create and run this application, I'm going to create ASP.NET MVC application. So there also I will take one web page. Okay, here you try to remember one important point, that is ASP.NET web page extension will be .aspx, but ASP.NET MVC web page extension will be, you can say, view extension will be .cshtml. Let me add one web page here. View Solution Explorer and right click and add and new item web form. Click add button. Click add button. Some header h1. Welcome to ASP.NET Web Forms. Now select web form 1, set as start page. I hope you are clear with this process, because already you are ASP.NET developers. Now build the solution and run the start debugging. Now your browser is going to display it's going to run the ASP.NET application, and browser is going to display the ASP.NET web page. Now you observe this ASP.NET web page is displaying by your browser. In the browser you can see the URL. You can see the URL. This is called file-based URL. It is displaying your file name. What is the file name here, Sunil?
The web form like web form 1.
.ASP. Web form .ASP. Very good. Now, Sunil, is it your first session?
Yes.
You missed the last 2 sessions. Okay.
Yeah,
Collect the
email from he shared the 2 classes.
You are from which location?
I'm from East Coast.
Right. So did you communicate our team already?
Yeah, I just spoke to that.
Are you in touch with them? Then you collect yesterday and
yeah, he already forwarded the 2 classes.
Yes, okay, fine. No, right. Okay, fine. Now I am going to create ASP.NET MVC application. So first time I am showing you how to create ASP.NET MVC application. Later I'll give you the more clarity about various ways of creation. Present, to show this concept, I'm explaining one model. Open Visual Studio. Open Visual Studio. New project. C# Web ASP.NET MVC web application. Means you can observe that to create ASP.NET application, we are selecting this template. To create ASP.NET MVC application, we are selecting this template. 2 templates are related to web. That's why it is under this category of web. Okay. Now, just your application name. If you want, you can change. Now, I am just writing my application name is my MVC application. Something called new. So my dot is with that name. Some applications already exist. The location you can choose whatever you want. I'm selecting D drive. Now you can click OK button. With this process, it's getting open new ASP.NET MVC project templates. There are various templates we have. Present we are going with basic template. About remaining templates, it's getting discussing next talk session. We are going to discuss all these things. You can observe here Web API option also here only, because Web API is following the MVC design pattern. Now here we have some various region engines. Let us assume right now it's getting select Razor engine, sorry, various view engines. It will support two view engines. About this also you'll get the clarity later. One is ASPX engine, another one is Razor engine. Let's go with Razor engine only and click OK button. Click OK button. With this process, your new ASP.NET MVC application is going to create. Right, and it is going to open your ASP.NET MVC application development environment. ASP.NET MVC application development environment is going to open. Right. Now we are entered into ASP.NET MVC application development environment. I'm opening the Solution Explorer. It is coming with various folders. Present, I am not going to explain about all these things. This we are going to discuss in the next topic, that is called ASP.NET MVC application development environment topic. There will discuss about all the folders. Among all the folders, here you have to understand the important folder called controllers. So actually here you can see models, here you can see views. Okay, so coming to controllers folder, first we need to add our own controller. Right click, add controller. I'm adding my controller. Okay, now here I'm renaming the controller name as home controller. Whatever name you want to give, you can give. Click add button. With this process, under controllers folder, home controller.cs file is getting what? Adding. Now your home controller.cs file class file is added. It contains some action methods. Now here it is called index is action method. What is that? We'll discuss in future. But you remember one important point. Controller class file will contain action and non-action methods. Generally we'll call. I told very clearly, controller will not contain any UI logic. Controller will not contain any validation logic. Controller will not contain any data access logic. Controller will contain only controlling logic called execution logic. Okay, forwarding the request to whom and getting the response and forwarding to the browser, like that. Now here you have one action method. What is the name of the action method present? You have, what is the method name, guys? Come on, index. Okay, so for this action method, I am adding one view. View is nothing but web page. Add view. So action method name and view name should be same, and I want to go with differencer. That is also possible. Present, we will go with one web page view name, that is called index. It will come with extension called .cshtml. You remember this point. It will come with .cshtml. Finally, your view will come with index.cshtml. Click add button. With this process, your view is going to add. Observe this, under views folder, automatically it is showing home. Home is nothing but Babu, it is controller. And here you have controller file, but controller name is home. Under home, for this controller, right now you are added one web page. That web page name is index.cshtml. The hierarchy, whatever you are able to see here, is showing that Babu, index.cshtml view is a part of a controller called home. Right. Now here you can observe you are entered into your .cshtml view page source code. Here I am writing one line code that is called welcome to ASP.NET MVC. Welcome to ASP.NET MVC. Now you are going to run the application. Whenever you are going to run the application, for your application under app start, under app underscore start, you have root config.cs file. This root config.cs file will decide first initially the request should go to which controller, because your application may contain multiple controllers. Right now we have only one controller. Tomorrow you may have n number of controllers. So what is the default controller? What is the default action method will decide this file. Here you have an attribute called controller equal to home, means controller equal to home means default controller name is home. So we don't require to change right now, because the name also I was given as same home only. Why? Because by default here you will have home. Now if your controller name is emp controller.cs, immediately you have to say controller equal to emp. And the default action method, our action method is index. Here also it is showing index right now. Due to that reason, this file we don't require to update. So I think so this file is not required to show right now, because there is no modification. Don't get confused. Okay, sometimes over explanation also will lead confusion to the student, right? So that is the story. Now compile the application. Yeah, again I'm telling you, root config.cs file. Reddy, are you asking about root config.cs, or you are asking from the controller?
Controller, sir. I didn't get that one, sir.
Controller onwards, right? What is that? You are added your selected controller folder and right click, and you said add controller, and it is added one controller file. What is the controller file name?
Control.cs.
Home controller.cs. This controller.cs file contain one action method. What is action method? Index. Okay.
Yeah.
Now don't ask me what is action method, what is non-action method. That is next discussion. Okay. So you remember
Sure.
one important
Sure.
controller will contain action methods. And for
Okay.
action method, I was added view. Whenever you want to add a view, generally you have to open the controller, select action method name, and select right click, and you have to select add view. Then your view is adding to this particular action method. How it is connecting, that
Okay.
will see. Then when you say add view, it is showing one window. There it is showing the view name is what? Index. You can go with
Yes,
other
sir.
names also. Right now I am going with same method name, same view name. View is nothing but web page. The extension of the web
Yeah.
page will be CSHTML. And I click add button. Due to that reason, under views folder, you have this hierarchy. The hierarchy is showing that this is telling that you have a controller file, that is home controller.cs. Under views folder,
Okay,
it
sir.
is showing you have your controller name is home. Generally, here you have home controller.cs. Every controller file postfix will be controller, but prefix means name of the controller is home only. Home is the name. Controller is normally, suppose you have another controller tomorrow, employee controller.cs means name of the controller is employee. Controller is common. Student controller.cs, customer controller.cs, like that. Here controller name is, what is the name? Home. Under that controller we have one view. What is the new name of the view? Index.cshtml.
CSHTM. Okay, sir.
For that view we have written some code here. What is the code we have given? Some div welcome code. And after that I explained about root config.cs. Frankly, I'm telling you that explanation is not required present if you will give these names. Now build the solution, unnecessary confusion. Run the application. Build the solution and run the application. Then your MVC application will getting execute. Here your MVC application is getting executed. You can observe the URL. Do you have any here any view page name is available? Like index.cs file is displaying in the URL.
No,
No.
sir.
No, this is called.
No, sir.
But in case of ASP.NET. Now I am clicking ASP.NET. This URL contain what? File name. This is called file based URLs. And ASP.NET MVC is called, what is this? It's not file based. No web page name, which are all called not file based. URL are controller based URLs. Controller based. The controller is displaying your view. The view name is index.cshtml, but nowhere the view name will visible in the browser. That is called clear or clean URLs in ASP.NET MVC. I hope you are clear. Sir, how this application is getting executing also we can discuss MVC application. Request will come to your controller. What is the name of the controller? Home. And home is invoking a method called index. Home is invoking a method called index. Index method is forwarding the request to view. That view is what? Index.cshtml. That's why index.cshtml view will display in the browser. Okay, so about that execution process we'll understand later, but right now our concentration is completely on clear or clean URLs. Finally, you can say that MVC URLs are controller based, ASP.NET URLs are file based. Okay, here MVC URLs are called as clear clean URLs because it contains less number of characters in URL. Due to this feature, SEO will be easy. SEO will be easy. Okay, because of this, SEO stands for search engine optimization. Example for ASP.NET URL, all these things we have given. Here, let's understand what is SEO. What is SEO? SEO stands for search engine optimization. SEO is a process of identify our website URL by search engine. MVC URLs are more comfortable for SEO because these URLs will contain less number of characters. Are you clear about this? Less number of characters are nothing but clear or clean URLs. Next, how ASP.NET MVC will improve the performance of web application. We discussed that ASP.NET MVC, another advantage or feature is improved performance. How it will improve the performance we are going to discuss. Are you clear? Yes. Right. So that is right. Compare with ASP.NET Web Form application, ASP.NET MVC application will provide more performance. Compare with ASP.NET Web Form application, ASP will give more performance. Why? Reason. ASP.NET Web Form process the web page with lot of activities. ASP.NET Web Form process the web page, ASP.NET web page with lot of activities. In ASP.NET Web Form execution, the activities are page related events, server control object will create. All your ASP.NET controls are server side controls or client side? Server side. Load the requested data, process the values, convert to HTML and so on. Due to this behavior, ASP.NET Web Form execution will be time consuming and extra burden to the server. But whereas ASP.NET MVC does not perform all the above activities, first of all, because it does not support server controls and processing will be faster. Means your ASP.NET MVC will have all the controls are client side controls. It will not have server side controls. So server side control execution will not be there. And another important point you have to understand is in ASP.NET you will have events. It will perform so many. Whenever your web page is processing, it will execute first page related events as part of the ASP.NET page lifecycle. Your page pre-request, page pre-render, page load, all these things. First, you remember one important point. Your ASP.NET MVC will not support any events. It will not support any events. So events processing will not be there. So it will be reducing lot of burden on your web page execution. But where you take in ASP.NET completely it is events based. And second thing is in ASP.NET Web Form, since all the controls are server side controls, every time the object will create in the server, In MVC, the controls are client-side controls. So due to this, ASP.NET MVC does not perform all the above activities. All the above activities means like events related activities and server side control activities, loading the requested to process the values, converting to HTML, because by default your complete ASP.NET MVC code, your ASP.NET MVC, your view code, you can observe here your view code doesn't have any run at equal to server. By default it is a HTML, or you can call it as a client side code. But when you take your ASP.NET web forms application, you can observe the source code will contain an attribute called run at equal to complete. The form is run at equal to server. Are you clear? Here head is completely run at equal to server. Whenever run at equal to server means it's server side code. Again, it has to convert into client understandable code. That procedure is not required. This convert to HTML and so on is not required in ASP.NET MVC, because complete your .cs HTML file will contain the only client side code. So that's the reason the improved performance, that MVC application will have improved performance. Right. Next point is how ASP.NET MVC we can have more controlling on HTML. There is a eighth feature we discussed, that is more controlled on HTML. So this feature also may not, some points you cannot understand at this stage more clear, like like a fruit punch or whatever it is. Why? Because that will be connected to the coding part, like implementation part. So like TDD support, you observed, we didn't understand that. I told very clearly that it is not possible to understand at this stage. How in ASP.NET MVC we can have more controlling on HTML. This is another point, that is called 8th point. Let me explain about this. In ASP.NET MVC, this point is again related to previous point. In ASP.NET MVC, view means web page, which contains UI logic, will be developing with the help of what? Satya, with the help of view will be developing with the help of
HTML.
HTML, with the help of HTML. Now, Sai is going to share interview question bank to you guys up to whatever topic we covered today, up to that the number of questions. Sai, do you have interview question bank right now? Sai, respond through voice.
Sir.
You have interview question bank right now? Soft copy.
Yeah, I have it.
Open and keep with you. Last we'll discuss about this for 2 minutes. You have to tell me the questions, okay, right? Or else just you can I think you can just I'll ask you the question numbers. You just have to give the number of questions, okay? Just open the document. Okay, now ASP.NET MVC view contain UI logic, will be developing with the help of only HTML. That's why your ASP.NET MVC have more controlling on HTML. Due to the above reason, we can easily integrate any kind of client-side libraries which MVC views. Okay, example for any kind of client-side libraries importing into your HTML view, your MVC view easy, because your MVC view is completely HTML code. So client-side libraries are nothing but example for client-side jQuery library, AngularJS library, Bootstrap library, and so on. So that is called what you can say ASP.NET MVC. We have more controlling on HTML. Reason is the complete view code is HTML code. There is no run at equal to server, and importing the libraries of client-side libraries also very easy in MVC, because completely it is client-side code. And what are the newly added concepts in ASP.NET MVC? We discussed 9th point is added new concepts in ASP.NET MVC. ASP.NET MVC new concepts are added to make web application development process will be comfortable, and these concepts are number one, filters, number two, routing. You don't have these concepts in ASP.NET. So ASP.NET concepts plus ASP.NET MVC. These are ASP.NET MVC newly added filters. It will make our validation code very, very easy. Next, routing, attributes, and web API and scaffold templates. These are all the new concepts in your ASP.NET MVC. Because of these new concepts, your application development process will be easy, and your application execution process will be also faster. How? That we'll understand when we are discussing about filters and routing at the end of your MVC discussions. And after this, the last point, that last point is how ASP.NET MVC is easy to learn and easy to implement. Easy to learn and easy to implement. The reason is, what is the reason for easy to learn and easy to implement? ASP.NET MVC is development based on the existing .NET while developing the ASP.NET MVC application. See, here important point is ASP.NET MVC is a part of .NET framework. ASP.NET MVC is a web framework, is a part of .NET framework. So that's the reason ASP.NET MVC development based on existing .NET. While developing the ASP.NET MVC application, we can reuse the most of the C#.NET and ASP.NET Web Forms concept. Whatever it is, you can observe that logic is you are going to write C#.NET. Means already you are a .NET developer. So C#.NET you are master. Same C#.NET logic you are using. So again you don't require to update. And coming to, and your most of the ASP.NET Web Forms concepts are again continuing in your ASP.NET MVC. Like what you can say here, state management concept, caching concept, master page concept, all these concepts are here also will be following. So majority of the ASP.NET concepts are continuing in ASP.NET MVC also. So due to that reason, so it will be very easy for the ASP.NET developer to learn ASP.NET MVC. That's why I said ASP.NET MVC is easy to learn and easy to implement. These are the 10 advantages or 10 features of ASP.NET MVC. Now let me draw the ASP.NET. Let me draw the .NET framework diagram with ASP.NET MVC environment in my screen, so that whenever anybody will ask you draw the ASP.NET MVC framework diagram, simply you can say, let's say .NET framework diagram. It is your .NET diagram. In .NET diagram, you can observe, yeah. Now here you can see in this diagram, this is .NET framework, bottom layer execution, .NET framework. These are the layers. And finally, next layer is ASP.NET Web Forms, ASP.NET Forms, and the next layer is ASP.NET MVC. Let me show you here. Yeah. Right. This layer is .NET framework. .NET framework. On .NET framework, right, this layer is your languages. The languages can be called as, you can call it as C#.NET or VB.NET. So nowadays everybody are using C#.NET. And the next layer is ASP.NET Web Forms. ASP.NET Web Forms. And here you can call it as ASP.NET MVC. So this is the older technology. This is the latest technology. But all these both technologies are working under on .NET framework. And either you are using C#.NET or VB.NET, that depends upon your requirement. But 99% will use C#.NET. Now note last last conclusion about this. ASP.NET MVC is not a replacement of ASP.NET. It is alternate option to develop web applications in .NET environment. Again, I'm telling you, the point you have to understand is ASP.NET MVC is not a replacement of ASP.NET. It is an alternative. It is an alternative option to develop web applications in .NET environment. Means in .NET environment, so ASP.NET MVC is alternate. First option ASP.NET Web Forms, second option ASP.NET MVC. Finally, we can say ASP.NET MVC is next generation of ASP.NET Web Forms. This is about today advantages or features of ASP.NET MVC, and tomorrow we are going to develop ASP.NET MVC application development environment. Application development environment means just now we have seen so many templates, about templates and about folders. We have seen some folders, controller folder, model folder, all these things we are going to discuss tomorrow. Once we will understand tomorrow class, slowly we can start our programming. Slowly we are going to maybe with one session, the theoretical part almost will complete some level. Next, slowly we can enter into programming. Before entering into programming, also we need to understand some predefined classes, all these things. Okay, that's about today class. And Sai and you guys, Sai will give the interview question bank. You start prepare from now onwards. Sai, open interview question bank. Totally, how many questions and answers it has?
Sir, there are topic-wise nearly 200 questions are there, sir.
Yes, no problem. Tell me the first question. Question name.
What is MVC?
Right. Now tell me the 10th question. Right. Otherwise, can you scroll it? Can you share and share the screen and scroll it? Make it.
10th question is who has designed ASP.NET MVC and when?
What I'm telling you, you share your screen. Is it possible?
Yeah.
Immediately do. The people will see the doc. Right. Now you guys, now you are seeing the size screen. There is showing your interview question bank in MVC. The second notes what you are going to get. So in Amirpet market, you can see my materials will be available in all. Around 10 books are there in .NET. So right, go to the first screen, starting page. They'll see it. Title of the doc. Right. Are you able to see all of you guys? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Now, first question, Sai, down. First question. What is MVC? Wait. Second question, what is design pattern? Third question, whatever we discussed, what is MVC design pattern? Fourth question, what is the role of model? Fifth question, what is the role of view? Next question, what is the role of controller? Okay, so these are all the topics we discussed. Explain MVC diagram. Write the list of technologies using MVC. Next, what is ASP.NET MVC? All we discussed last 3 days. Next, who has designed ASP.NET MVC? From which year onwards we are using MVC in ASP.NET. Write the ASP.NET MVC versions. Next. 1 minute. Is ASP.NET MVC is a replacement of ASP.NET Web Forms? Next. Is MVC is a part of .NET? Go down. Go to the next. All these are the what? 1 minute. Why ASP.NET MVC? What are the advantages? The list what we discussed just now. Next, Sai, go down. Right. Wow. Now, what is separation of code? Today question. Why is loosely coupled? Why it is called loosely coupled? Next, go down. These are all the today 10 questions. Go down. Next. 1 minute. What is clean URL? Clear URL. Next. Next, 1 minute. How ASP and MVC will improve the performance. And 23rd, more controlling over HTML. 24, go down. 24, newly added concepts. Right, 25. 25, very good. 25, 1 minute. How ASP, wait, Sai. How ASP.MVC is easy to learn and easy to implement. Last topic. So, you guys, your homework is, Sai will share the document. Now, tell me, Annapurna, up to how many questions in this document we covered? 25.
25.
Yes. Take all the people, take pen and paper. Homework is getting started. Yeah, we can use server controls also, Reddy. In old version, starting people were using server controls. I'll show you, don't worry, when we entered into coding. Right, all of you take pen and paper. Homework started. Today onwards, homework has to start. Task 1. Task 1. Task 1. Prepare 1 to 25 questions and answers with the help of document. Task 2. Task 2. Once preparation is completed, write the list of the questions without seeing the document. Write the list of 1 to 25 questions without seeing the document. 25 questions without seeing the document. Task 3. Write the 1 to 25 questions without seeing the document, bracket lo handwritten. Handwritten with space. Give the space for answers. Task 3. Once questions list prepared, task 3, write the answers without seeing the document. Without seeing the document. Task 4. Task 4. Find out the unable to answer questions and prepare. Find out the unable to, out of 25, for example, you are unable to write 4. Find it and prepare. Next, task number. What is the next task? Are you writing on paper?
Yes, sir.
Don't cheat me. It's not cheating me. You are cheating yourself. What is the task number? Task number 6 or 4, 5 or
5.
5. And now close the document. Write the answers for unable to answer questions. Unable to answer question. Next, task number. Task number. Task number. Take mobile, do voice record question and answers. Take a mobile, do voice record question and answers. Voice record question and answers without seeing the document. Next task. Send all these photocopies. Whatever you have written, you have to take a photo. Photocopies. Send all these photocopies to Sai. He will share you a mail. Sai, you create one email ID. Anyhow, better to use the same mail ID, Sai. Same mail ID. R&D IT school mail ID is there now. Same mail ID you use. Give that mail ID. I hope they are in touch with that mail. Hello?
As of now, not yet, sir. We didn't use.
Guys, R&D IT school at gmail.com.